Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by two lovely guests today. One guest you've known from before, my attorney, legal counsel, creator of the legal shield for AITA Pod, Christie Bahna.
Engineer.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Hey, Christie.
She recently went on a trip to me, which we're going to be discussing on a different episode, but we went and did comedy. She's a charming comedian here from Los Angeles, Kari Assad.
Yay.
Welcome to the show.
Yay.
Wow, guys, it's so great to be here at Spotify with you. Listen to the pod on Spotify.
Spotify. This is really cool. I've never been to the Spotify offices before.
It's pretty dope, right?
It's dope as hell.
Is this an exclusive Spotify release?
No, it
Just
still
cool-
goes
just a
out,
cool
but it
studios.
sounds just a little better on Spotify. Something about the...
This room is quiet.
Isn't it nice?
You're
You
like-
can't, if you clap, it doesn't echo.
Yeah, no, I feel very special in here. When he closed the door, I was
Yeah.
like, whoa. I wish my heart felt the way this room felt. You know
Your
what I mean?
heart
Like
has a
still.
lot of chaos.
Yeah, like still
Okay.
and quiet, you know? Have you ever felt that?
Well, we're going to go into your engagement. I would
Okay.
think your heart's in a good place. But
Yes.
since we're on the topic of echoes, I live in Echo Park, which is a neighborhood in LA. And it is called that because the guy heard echoes when they were building Echo Park back in the day.
Yeah.
And I never really got it, though. I was like, I guess whatever they were doing then was real loud.
Yeah.
Last night, good old J4 could not believe it. Sounded like popcorn was popping, but like pitched down, like
Yeah.
but not even visible fireworks.
Weird.
Like echoing from across Los Angeles. It tripped me out. I saw a couple good doggies because people leave. You guys know about this?
People leave with their
people
dogs.
leave LA
Yeah.
because of the dogs.
Yeah.
So I was like, how are my ducks gonna react to this? The ducks didn't give a fuck.
Ducks
But I'm walking around.
Ducks are like all in a day.
What's that?
Ducks are like all in a day.
All
you know?
day.
Origin
No
of
big.
don't give a duck.
Yeah,
Don't give a duck.
Correct, famously.
Thanks, autocorrect. But then I'm walking around and I go, where the fuck are the geese? By the way, there's literally a million geese at Echo Park Lake now. They were all in the water. And they're never like this. Every single freaking goose was in a huge goose-like area
Wow.
of the lake, all like kind of smashed together. Not like crazy tight, but in a
Yeah.
circle. And it was like a horror movie. I've never seen them do that.
I love this.
And they were just chilling. And I was like, the geese are afraid. Like, they're kind of fucked up
Yeah,
about
I feel like they're like, the sky's doing some crazy
they're
stuff.
huddling and they're like,
yeah.
"'Tis the day where the sky's off limits."
Tis the day when the sky's off limits. Oh my God, that would make a great Pixar
I was
film.
just gonna say, it feels
July
like a-
4th.
Yeah, where all the
July
geese are like,
4th.
"No, today's not the day."
Yeah.
Except there's one young whippersnapper who
Who's
will
like,
dare to
yeah.
bob and weave throughout the fireworks, the flames,
Yes.
because he's on a mission.
Because he's on a mission to prove, do we need fireworks anymore?
He's an environmentalist.
I vote no. Yeah, I don't need them. I'm done.
Aronofsky does a DreamWorks film.
Okay.
And then all the animals are in this apocalypse. And then
Yeah.
the punchline is, it's just July 4th.
It's just,
They're very
yeah.
afraid and confused.
That'd be a great twist. Have you guys seen Immigration by, I don't think it was Pixar. It was some other animated.
DreamWorks.
I think it was
Immigration?
DreamWorks.
No.
I watched it.
Not their most fun movie title.
No.
No, it was really kind of blah. It was just like these ducks decide to migrate for the first time.
yeah, I
and
like the
journey.
preview.
Yeah.
I think it's migration, isn't it? Is it
Probably.
immigration?
Yeah, you're right. Migration makes way
actually
more
not
sense.
Totally
The new Disney movie, Undocumented Transit.
Undocumented. Yeah.
Undocumented
Really
transit.
fun themes throughout this whole
it's really
thing.
an allegory for what it means to be a border.
Right. Actually, people got mad at Coco for having border patrol on the bridge. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I didn't really care about it, but people brought it up. They're like, for cereal, we can't.
We can't.
For cereal, you put them in there?
Oh, wow.
It's a part of life
It is a part of.
and death.
The sad part, when I got back from Japan, there was like some international travelers on the same flight and from some other country, some
Yeah.
better country. And the girl, she had her little passport book. So she knew I was American because we were talking on the plane. And she goes, "Excuse me, sir, I'm trying to get my passport stamped. Do you know where that happens?" And we were already way past that
Yeah.
phase. And I was like, I guess they just don't do that anymore.
I really give you like a sticker.
No, they didn't do shit. They didn't do anything. And I was like, this is America. Things are just shitty.
Yeah,
now, dude.
welcome to America, honey.
Welcome to Sucktown, babe.
Welcome to Sucktown, baby boo. Grow up fast out here. Bet you feel, take your book and put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
No stamp for you.
Don't get sick.
Don't get
It will cost
sick.
your family all their money.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even get stickers at the dentist anymore. You think we're going to give you a stamp in your
Get out of
passport?
town.
Sorry, that heavy sigh was just me reflecting on the state of healthcare.
Oh, yeah. No, it's bad.
Not because I was upset about
Remember
this.
they used to give you like toothpaste and brushes when you'd visit? Is that just for children?
I know what you're talking about. They used to do
I
that
got
at
a
my
little
hometown
doggy bag.
dentist.
Yeah.
At my last dentist up north.
Oh, okay. Then it's
Up
just
north. Wait, you go to Canada for that shit?
No, for a while when I moved back to LA, I would still go to my dentist up in San Francisco because I loved
That's
them
cute.
so much.
I have
and then
yeah.
I stopped.
Yeah, I have a really great dentist. They're Armenian, and I don't know if they're running a legitimate business because every time they call me, it's from a new number. And when I call them, they just go, hello. Like, it's not like, hi, this is the dentist. They're just like, hello. And I'm like, hi, this is Karina. And they're like, oh, what's up, girl? Like, it's really funny.
That's not appropriate.
Tell me about this.
I
And
love them
can't-
so much. Yeah.
I can't believe we haven't done a joke about.
I know. It's hard
shady
to hard to get
dentist.
all the context
They
right.
don't have like a Google address. Like they're not like.
I had to like just Google the In and Out on Sunset and just kind of look for them from there. I did find them on Google Maps eventually, but for a long time I couldn't. Yeah, but they've really saved me on many times, and they fight for me
They're
with the
Larry H.
insurance.
Parker
Yeah,
dentist.
yeah, they really are. Yeah.
Connie, you just got engaged.
Yes, I did just get engaged.
There we go.
How
Look
does
at that. Is
what
that
does it
red?
look? Yeah, it's a ruby.
Like a ruby.
It's a ruby. It's a leaf design that we had made by a cool jeweler in Florida. Her name's Vanessa Hernandez, and she's a cool lady. Check her out if you're looking for rings. Yeah, we got engaged. We have been together for it'll be 9 years in September.
Oh, wow.
So we move fast. You know, the heart wants what it
Yeah.
About
wants.
this,
Yeah.
You told
Yeah.
me prior you weren't pushing for it, right? Thought you said that.
We weren't like, I feel like people are like, why hadn't you gotten married before? Like, 'cause
Right.
9 years is a long time. And we were always just like kind of comfortable saying like, we both are artisty types. We both want to get a lot done. And we know weddings are expensive and hard to put on. So we weren't ever like in a rush. But I think we just kind of like in 22, we lost family members, and I think we just had like a realization like life is short. We should just celebrate what we have instead of like trying to have an idea of what you should have in order to take the next step and stuff. So I think we really just realized like, why not celebrate like something we already have and we love, which is each other. So.
And you were telling me a little bit that you did know what you wanted in terms of the engagement.
Yeah, because we'd been together for so long, I wanted a gesture because he was saying something like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if you and I just went to dinner and I just got down on one knee? And I was like, no, I don't want that.
That wouldn't be nice, motherfucker.
That'd be
would
nice
be
to just
shit.
go to dinner. We can go to dinner all the time sometime, but no, I want like a gesture. And I think I just was like, yeah, it's been 9 years, but does it, I still want the
Juice it up a
ta-da.
little,
Yeah,
dog.
I want the ta-da. And he kind of always seemed like overwhelmed at that idea, at the ta-da. And I have a joke about this that I wanted him to work on planning because the first time I met his parents was at a Korean spa due to his like poor planning.
Oh,
So like
yes.
that's like just a small example, but he is like a real fly by his seat kind of person. And that I get why he is that way because he's like entrepreneur, has his own little business. So he's always planning and organizing all the time. So when he's in his free time, he likes to just kind of do whatever. But I was like, but I want this to be planned.
Right, but wait,
and-
hold on. Let's just go to this Korean spa thing because I don't think
Yes.
everyone. You
Yeah, okay.
explained this to me, right? That the Korean spa,
The Koreans,
everybody's naked.
everyone's naked in the Korean spa.
First
That's how they
time
work.
Meeting his parents.
In the joke, I say first time. In reality, second. But it was like I had a
much.
lunch with them, and then like it was also a miscommunication because I was told that they weren't going to the Korean spa. I was told that him and I were going to the naked spa, and then I think they were kind of being like, well, we thought we'd see you more, and
We thought we'd see more of
yeah.
you.
So we did. We saw a lot of them. I saw his mom, because the way the Korean spa works, shout out We Spa, is that it separates the genders, and then there is like a co-ed floor, and everyone is just given these very unsexual outfits. It's khaki shorts to the knee and a bright yellow shirt.
For the
News
co-ed.
to me that's not sexual.
That it's just like I've never felt on. It's
So wait, you're naked on your gender specific floor, but then on the co-ed floor, you got to look like a weird Boy Scout referee.
You're given, like a very bizarre scout outfit. And it's like all the size, like they're small, medium, large. So these aren't fitting fun, they're not a fun fit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Of all the problems. So you saw the mom naked, but you didn't see his dad naked?
Yeah. And like his like brother and his brother's husband didn't know the story, and they were like, what? That happened? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, what was their reaction? And I was like, honestly, could not have been more unbothered. They were just so like, they're from Florida. I don't know. Like, they're just like
Settled. No further explanation.
They were like, we've seen manatees fly, like this is nothing. So like, yeah.
We're on bath salts.
We're on bath salts.
We don't even know where we are.
Now. I swear to God, I saw a mall stampede in Florida with Mark. I was like mortified. I was scared.
Yeah.
I was like, we got to get out. We're like, we got to run as far as we can and then call the lift. We can't call the lift here. There could be more danger afoot. And Mark's reaction was, yeah, I don't know, babe. People are just kind of dumb here. Like, he was so unbothered by it. He was like, do you want to go to a movie later? I'm like, no, I don't know if we should be in public. Like,
right.
what?
It was a stampede.
Yeah.
How about the Lion King?
Yeah. So, they were unbothered. So, because of the Korean spa and honestly just our life of he doesn't like to plan things, I've made it clear that, like, I did want him to work on the planning. I also wanted a gesture. I wanted him to plan it. And so basically he accepted, and I knew that we were going to do it on a specific date, and I knew what specific things to wear, but I didn't know the scale he would go, and he really like blew me out of the water.
Wow.
Like, yeah, he could have been more like, I fucking got you, bitch. But he wasn't. He was very nice and sweet.
He did it with a gun.
Yeah, he's like, I'm fucking in your face. I planned that shit.
So he started out, let's just go to dinner.
Yeah.
And then, but how did it actually play out?
So he did it in the park at Disneyland, which I don't care if people make fun of me or roast me. It was fucking awesome. It was the best day ever.
That's
and
great.
Like, yes. And like, it was in the park, and also it wasn't just like us. He had like he had both sides of the family there. He had his mom, his brother, and his husband, the baby that we like, our nephew that we like got to see get born basically. And then, his cousin who lives in Orange County, and then like my parents were there. My uncle who lives in Orange County was there. My cousin came in. I like cannot believe she flew in. And then
I didn't know your cousin flew in.
Yes, with her little
So
babies.
Wow.
And then my siblings were there, and like they kind of like he did it at the wishing well at Disneyland, and there's like a tunnel, and so they all like proceeded out, and I was first like, oh my God, this is so sweet, because it was like our parents, and then like as more people came out, I was like, oh my God, and by the last one I was like, oh my fucking God, like I was like just ecstatic. I couldn't believe all these people came for like really just the engagement.
That's cute.
It was huge. He like got down on both knees because he didn't
Both
know.
knees?
Yeah, I think he just wanted to make sure. And then
Make sure?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Situation.
he's like, I know there's some amount of
I know
knees.
there's like, he's like, I forgot to Google this part, but I like got everything else together.
He straight up kneeled to the queen. He said, fuck it.
Yeah. And it was wonderful. And then we spent like a day at Disney, and like first I got overwhelmed. I was like, oh no, all these people are here, and I hope people feel like I'm spending putting enough time with them, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was just so fun and chill. Like, they just all kind of did their own Disney adventure, and we hopped around from different groups. Everyone just enjoyed themselves. It was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Thank you. I honestly, best day of my life. Wow. Such a good day.
So when's the wed?
Oh, we don't know. We're hoping 25, 26, you know. We haven't even looked at a single venue. So, yeah, if you guys have wedding ideas, like, can they drop them in comments?
Sure, drop them
in
on
the
Spotify,
comments.
drop them on the Instagram.
If you have a venue you want us to look at, no Korean spas. Yeah. What'd you say?
Oh, everyone plug their own venues.
Everyone plug your own venues.
A lot of venue people listen to this.
A lot of venue
Almost
owners.
All our listeners have a little venue. You know.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I don't know. I was thinking about my wedding. I don't know why, because there's no girlfriend. There's nobody to marry. But I guess I really want a snow wedding. I've never been to one. I think that could be really cool.
Like a winter wedding?
Yes.
Wow.
Winter Wonderland.
Like in Lake Tahoe or something.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking.
Yeah.
My sister got married in Lake Tahoe, but it was summer.
Really?
Summer. Everybody does a wedding in the summer.
I would want a spring wedding. Yeah. Not summer, but spring.
I had a cousin get married in January, and that was so interesting.
I've been to a January City wedding, New York City wedding. Maybe it was February, but whatever.
I've been to a lot of fall weddings, honestly. And I think it's because LA people are spooky people. Like, they love spooky season.
Ooh.
So they want to get married near Halloween.
The spooks.
Because they like that time better. I'm not a
That's
spooky
getting
person.
too LA for me.
Yeah, that's very LA.
Let's all dress up.
Yeah, Halloween's a big deal here.
Well, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So excited for you and your wedding, which will happen eventually.
It will happen eventually.
Now, Christie's a recovering attorney. You guys know that. You guys have heard her before. Kari, I asked you what we should talk about. You said you're mixed race.
Yeah.
Which is?
I'm Mexican and Lebanese and a little French and German if we're doing the full survey.
A lot of different ones.
Mostly Mexican, to be honest.
Okay.
And then quarter Lebanese and then French and German. Makes my dad half Lebanese, so he shares his Lebanese stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom's full Mexican, so that's the loudest influence, I'd say. And it'd probably be the loudest even if it was just a quarter. So just because they're loud.
Mexicans are loud.
Mexicans are loud and
Okay.
yeah. So are Arabs, I guess, but mine are very white and Midwestern, so they're loud in like a casserole way, you know, like not necessarily, yeah, like
Cubans are always bragging. My folks are always bragging how loud they are.
yeah,
Yeah.
Specifically about volume. Yeah, interesting.
Cubans are loud. Is there any who professes to be quiet?
I feel like I could be in trouble.
Germans.
Germans?
Sure. Oh, that's a good one.
okay.
That's ringing true.
That feels right, and I feel like they'd
Restrained.
be like yes.
In some things.
They're not good laughers. That's funny. Restrained in some things, yeah. They got a little crazy.
They're a little crazy.
At certain points.
They've been known to get carried away. I'll tell you that much for free. Yeah.
All right, that's enough banter. Let's start this thing. We're not going higher than that. All right, our second story of the day. AITA for refusing to speak to someone's lawyer after my number was given without my permission, and I said I didn't want to be involved. But first, AITA for calling myself mixed race. I got in an argument last night with some people about this, which prompted my post. A little background. My dad's a black Cuban. My mom's a white Ukrainian, which is quite a combo. So I've always considered myself to be mixed race, despite, as my parents have said, quote, looking like both my parents are white. In high school, when I went to apply to the minority scholarships at the prompting of my father, my guidance counselor and teachers wouldn't give me the resources or help to do so because they said I didn't look, quote unquote, mixed enough, and that it was disrespectful of me to consider myself as such. When I started applying to jobs, I'd mark myself down as mixed race when they would ask for it. Some of my friends found out I was doing this and told me it's not fair to do that and that I'm lying by saying that I'm mixed race. One of them actually went to my employer and said that I lied on my application and that I'm not actually mixed race. When I tried to argue that I am, my friend said that because I don't look mixed race, I don't deserve to refer to myself as mixed race. AITA for calling myself mixed race.
Damn. I wish we could see a picture. I'm just kidding.
Let's see the guy.
Let's see a
I
guy.
kinda
Let's take a
understand that,
vote.
though, right?
Yeah, let's take a
If somebody looks like really white, it is a little bit hard when they like lead hard with that.
Yeah. I feel like I think it's fine to say what you are and take pride in what you are. I feel
Unless you're white.
unless I
Unless
mean
you're full white
unless you're
and-
full German and you're like no regrets, but I
Well, you're allowed to have German pride.
you're allowed to have
Isn't that
German
the rule?
pride. You're allowed to
have-
be like I like bratwurst, you know, and stuff like
Nationalism's
that.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's toxic in its own way, but
Yeah.
it's not like outwardly. But then you can't be proud
You
of.
can't be too proud of a white person if that's just your only,
yeah.
Can't be too.
You can't be like, I loved the Mayflower and everything it did. I would say I appreciate.
I would be okay with that. That doesn't sound.
Well-
I'd be like, go on.
I'd be like, oh.
I don't like where it's going.
mean,
but-
Go on.
I feel like I feel like if you bring up the Mayflower and your family was on, you should be like, they were on it. I'm aware. Kind of like we were like, they showed lack of restraint, but I appreciate, I can't,
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
I actually tweeted about this yesterday, and Denali, the mountain.
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
You don't know it? Nobody knows Denali?
The mountain.
It's the mountain.
Where is it?
It's the biggest mountain in all of North America. It's in Alaska.
Oh.
And it was called Mount McKinley. And then they're like, nobody really calls it that. Like the locals,
I
you know
have
what I'm talking about?
I have heard of Mount McKinley. Yeah.
That's very offensive. So they changed it to Denali because that's what it was
Okay.
always called, right? The Native Americans have been here for thousands
Yeah.
of years.
They like, give it back. That's
Exactly.
not yours. Give it back.
And
yeah.
so my tweet, which bombed, which I don't know why I'm saying right now, but too late, we're in it.
By all means.
Somebody said, they wrote Denali, formerly Mount McKinley, and I'm like, no, it wasn't formerly Mount McKinley. It was very briefly Mount McKinley.
Yeah.
For thousands of years, it was Denali. Then some white people were like, actually, it's Mount McKinley.
Yeah.
Then you guys heard of it during that stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were like, no, back to what it was.
I
always
didn't get the
called.
news about the
You didn't get the memo.
didn't get the rebrand memo, but like
If it makes, both sound vaguely familiar. Yeah.
we're doing this all the time. There's a certain
Yeah,
brand
yeah.
of lime.
Yeah.
There's a cocktail. It's like a slur apparently,
Oh, no.
but they changed it back to Macrute lime before it was something else.
Before it was a slur.
It started with a
Not a
K, but it
slur.
was like in another
no.
language.
Oh, yeah.
So
it goes. Yeah,
it
that's
wasn't.
tough.
It,
It
didn't
wasn't
have
the
gra-
slur originally.
Yeah. But anywho, the point is, people are like, oh, in the same way that we're like, we don't call it a master bedroom anymore.
Oh, yeah. I would try to say main. bedroom.
Oh.
But that's kind of, I don't know why. I know we shouldn't say
I've
it.
been saying I've been really informed
problematic?
about the master.
You're not getting these.
I
memos
get
at all.
why we wouldn't say that.
Do you
I
want
don't
me to
need-
add you to the email
No,
list?
yeah, actually, please, so I can
Like,
avoid
this is what
these.
we're not saying.
This is what we're not saying.
anymore.
It's not like it's not like I
McKinley's
lead. I just like if I like didn't know that we were not saying master bedroom, but just people saying we're trying to not say master bedroom anymore. I can quick context. I get it. You know, like I don't
Right.
need it explained. You're like that makes sense.
Yeah, you get
just
it.
like out of context.
Yeah, you hear it, and then you're like, cool, say less.
just like mathing history. Yeah, that
I was
makes
reading
sense.
a book recently.
Yeah.
Not to brag or
Not
anything.
to brag.
You already.
And it was written in 2001.
Okay.
And it dropped, that word that doesn't actually refer to the N word, but it contains the N word spelled wrong. N-wordly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in the book.
Mm.
They just wrote it.
Right.
And it took me a while, but I was like, yeah, I guess in 2001, because remember I think it was 2005 where somebody used that word in a speech and they got canceled because people were like, don't say
Don't
it.
do that.
Even though technically it's not connected to the
Everyone threw
N-word.
thesauri at him.
Yeah.
Find a different word,
Stingy.
motherfucker!
It means stingy. Just say stingy.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was in my book.
It was in the book. I think it's okay. I personally, I think if you're a fair-skinned person, but you have roots with races or nationality that tend to not be fair-skinned, I think it's okay to take pride in who you are and what you are. I think there's a lot of complexity around it, a lot of political stuff around it. But I've seen other my fair-skinned friends, they're not even mixed race. They'll just be like Latino, but they are very fair skinned.
Right.
It seems like they want to call them, some, not all, want to call themselves white and not really join other Latinos in things. And I think that's weird. And I think to think we all should be looking like a certain thing if you're one thing is really incorrect. And that's just not how the world works.
Right.
Like, so I think it's okay. I think, like, I understand, like, I think you could say I'm white and Latino. Or
Right, that's what I say. I'm a white Cuban.
Yeah, I'm
just
a
like
white,
her dad's a black Cuban.
Yeah, I'm a white mixed race person, sure.
Okay. You are saying that you consider yourself a white mixed race person?
I let people vote around me. I give it to the dealer's choice. You know, like, I don't know. I feel like I've been treated so many different ways. It feels irritating to me if someone were to be like, you're just white. I'd be like, well, then tell that to all those experiences.
Right.
So
tell that to my past.
Yeah. But also, if I wouldn't like fight someone if I was in a room with people who were darker skinned than me and they felt a certain way about it, I don't know if I'd like argue with them about it. I'd be like, you're right, we have different experiences. Like, but if like some little white person was just trying to tell me who I am, I'm like, fuck, get out of here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's always annoying.
So like,
Christy, what say you?
So I think that we need to be drawing a distinction between calling yourself mixed race and then applying for scholarships. Or I think there's one thing about how you identify, and then there's another where you're like, oh, I'm going to apply to get a resource that might be able to go to somebody else.
I got a full ride saying I was a white Hispanic. I did say I was Hispanic. My parents were born in Cuba.
Right.
Legal?
Well, no, I mean, that's true. You are. And so here's the thing. I don't think somebody checking the mixed race box, that's a factual statement.
right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If they have a white
Agreed.
Ukrainian mom and a black Cuban dad, they are mixed race, whether or not they appear it or not. Right?
And I want to eat their food also.
Say again?
Go on. And I want to eat the food at their house. I just don't know. I don't know what to expect. And I'm interested.
Don't know what to accept. It's interesting. But I think that when it comes to, claiming the experience, then that's where we get into dicey territory.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
I feel, but it's also like if they both celebrated their cultures openly in the house and you had that, then like that's what you had. But if this person was writing about like, why don't they let me, a light-skinned person, say the N-word? I am black. Then I'd have a really different opinion on this person.
That's pretty far.
Yeah.
I lost you at experience though, because I feel like you were making a distinction.
That's exactly what I mean. Is like, in terms of you're not treated as a marginalized group. So then
because you're white passing.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay,
and so when that doesn't dovetail with your experiences, and then maybe there's a scholarship that is intended to benefit people who are traditionally marginalized because of the color of their skin and because of how they appear, that might seem like something that I wouldn't necessarily. However, that's not to say that simply checking the box means you're doing something wrong. I think there is just...
my dad was denied a haircut one time.
Really?
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks, Arizona.
Are you sure it's because of...
Arizona.
Human?
Was it the check your papers time?
Are you sure?
It was in it. But go on. What's your theory?
Maybe he just came back from Burning Man, because I know a lot of people get denied for a lot of things. Famously, there's a car wash right by my place on Divisadero where San Francisco that said no Burning Man cars.
Whoa.
They said if you went to Burning Man and you want us to wash your car, you fucking make a U-turn and get the fuck out of here.
Wow.
We're not washing Burning Man cars because they were so notoriously dirty and covered in dust. So maybe he went to Burning Man and his hair was too long and dusty.
Wow.
This was in the early 70s in Miami, so
in Miami,
it's a theory. I'm
Pienso
not
que it was
sure.
racism.
Yeah. I also, though, I'd like to also bring up a point that he's applying for a scholarship. The scholarship is for mixed race people. And I feel like if a scholarship is in there.
No, that's me. That's me.
Oh.
I got a scholarship. OP.
I thought okay.
Wait, was this a scholarship?
I thought he was like, my dad encouraged me to apply for mixed race scholarships.
when I started applying to job, oh yeah, you're right. When I went to apply to minority scholarships, oh, you're right. My guidance counselor and teachers wouldn't give me the resources because they said I didn't look mixed enough. And then he started applying for jobs. And then one of the friends, said that they were lying and went to the employer.
Friends in quotation marks. I mean, what a narc.
What a narc. Well, I feel like scholarship, it's not just for you and how you look. You're asking your family's resources, what your family has. So they're asking about the family.
Yeah.
So I think personally, I don't get what the problem is.
I think the problem arises when you are starting to claim that you have been treated differently.
But that's not what a scholarship is. Right. A scholarship is for money. Like if his mixed race parents didn't have enough money and they're looking for mixed race people to apply, then I think he has a right to apply.
And I also think that, I didn't suffer. I came from upper middle class socioeconomic. Right. My dad is a prestigious psychologist, and I say that making fun of him, but no, we didn't want for anything. We were fine.
Yeah.
But I do think that affinity is a thing, right? Like white people tend to glom onto other white people. And so it's like, I wasn't exactly the target of this Hispanic scholarship, but now the affinity pool is a little different.
Right? Yeah.
I think my point is, I'm not saying OP did something wrong per se, but I could see why people would be saying you shouldn't have the scholarship because who knows what the essay said. I would need to know a little bit more information. Having said that, simply saying you're mixed race when it's factual, I don't think you did anything wrong.
Yeah, I think I disagree because if they're asking, you have mixed race parents, right? How much money do they have? Okay, we're asking for people of mixed race parents who don't have a lot of money, and he qualified for that. I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah, he qualified.
Like if they were like, we're looking for mixed race people who have mixed race parents, don't have a lot of money, and have suffered because of their appearance, then I'd be like, okay, then he doesn't.
Which they wouldn't say.
Yeah, they wouldn't say.
Well,
that's what the essay's for.
Yeah, so he can
query what on a scale of 1 to dolezal, he hasn't quite reached the dolezal.
He also, his dad told him to do it.
Dolezal means it's completely fake. It's bad.
Yeah, Rachel
so you
Dolezal.
Want to be a 1.
He's claiming to be.
I don't think he's a dolezal at all. Right. Yeah.
AITA for calling myself mixed race. I think we agree that this discussion has solved racism.
Yeah.
Right. And I think
with the caveat that he's not claiming that he has been suffering as a result of his identity.
But I thought Gotti gave us a good kind of way of looking at it. It's like, well, like I look at you and you look. I think of myself as fairly white. I think he was fairly white. It's obvious to me that your parents aren't Irish,
right?
Yeah. But I think it's a good thing to defer. I defer. I mean, I've had a black person tell me you can call yourself a person of color. I wouldn't personally feel comfortable doing that, but I kind of take it from them, if that's what they feel fine.
Absolutely. For the same reason why I don't say I'm African American, even though I'm North African.
Definitely in Africa.
I'm North African, and I will say North African because that's a distinction that Middle East North Africa, they call it MENA, Middle East North Africa region, versus African American is a very specific thing, and I can't claim to be a part of that experience. So it is really just that splitting the hair there.
I feel like I need to read more about this scholarship he'd applied for.
Yeah, I would like to know more about this scholarship.
If it was really more about his parents and his parents' experience.
You're being audited by Christie Bahna.
Yeah, as is, we would say you're not a dolezal.
Not a dolezal.
Yeah.
All right.
I would say the person who got him fired. Also, maybe Opie's kind of a dick, and that's why everybody doesn't like him. But
that's a theory.
Yeah, but because who would
just make up for the blank space?
Who would get them fired?
Who would do that?
That's crazy. My guess is that he's stealing people's lunches, or he's really annoying. But
so we're saying not the asshole, based on what we know, not the asshole on the person who reported it.
Sit up straight. This is.
All right. So our next situation, calling in Christie's legal expertise. Here we go. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes in life, we compare our lives to others. Social media can play a part of that. I recommend making your phone grayscale. I did it recently and changed everything. And after you do that, join BetterHelp. because it can help you with these negative thoughts. You guys know I've benefited tremendously from therapy. It helps you explore your feelings, thoughts. As Dr. Vega says, you can't smell your own stink. BetterHelp is online, convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. You'll get a therapist. You can switch therapists, which is important because compatibility is a factor, folks. So stop comparing, stop social media doom scrolling, and start focusing on having a better life. What if I just got really? You can run in the beautiful plains with Labrador retrievers. No, but seriously, get therapy. It will help you. And if you visit betterhelp.com/AITA pod, you can get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/AITA pod. AITA. For refusing to speak to someone's lawyer after my number was given without my permission, and I previously said I didn't want to be involved. This story is ridiculous. Bear with me. A few months ago, my 35F sister, Penny, 36F, told me about our sister Jessica's 38F friend, Lisa's son. There was an incident at the summer camp he was attending. This is Jessica's friend Lisa's son. He left the building by himself unnoticed by several staff walking a considerable distance. I thought it was crazy, but I didn't think more about it. A few weeks after I interviewed for a position at a summer camp, 30 minutes into the interview, the owner starts rambling and telling me the job's going to be rough. I was taken aback, but I was glad she was honest and upfront. She then starts telling me very confidential information about a child that left their center. She even showed me papers from the state detailing the investigation, and I was able to see the kid's name and mother's name and employees involved. It's at this point she tells me she's in danger of losing her license. During all that, I connect the dots and realize I'm at the same place Lisa's son attended, which is Jessica's friend. Sorry, I just have trouble keeping track of these things. So, I am really desperate for a job, though, so I was still going for it because the pay was good. I talked to Jessica the next day. I said, you wouldn't believe what place I just interviewed at. Blah, 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 sister talk. But then I made the mistake of saying the camp owner showed me and talked about confidential things. An hour later, Jessica calls me on a three-way with Lisa on the phone is saying tell her what you told me about that camp. I was shocked and I felt like such an idiot because I know my sister runs her mouth. I felt really put on the spot and pressured, so I told her the same thing. Lisa then said she was going to sue the camp for breach of confidentiality. I texted Jessica and said, please let Lisa know I don't want to be involved and that I regret saying anything. I said there's more than enough evidence to sue since multiple staff let a child leave unnoticed and that I don't need to be involved in the confidentiality stuff. The next day is a Saturday, and the day of my aunt's funeral, my phone is blown up with emails, text calls from the owner of the camp. I decided to call back when we get to the repast. Repast? I don't know what that is. She's interrogating me about who I talked to after interviewing because she's getting sued by a parent. And the parent told her she spoke to someone that interviewed. I was livid at this point and annoyed at myself for getting in the situation. 2 more days that week, I got calls and voicemailed and was interrogated over the phone. I hadn't even formally accepted the job yet. 2 weeks have passed since my initial interview. Today, I got a text from Lisa, who must have gotten my number from Jessica. She's asked me to talk to her counsel law team and repeat what I said. AITA for wanting to block her number and not respond since I already said I don't want to get involved.
This one's hard.
Okay, so my question is, first of all, I'm curious as to why she said there's more than enough evidence to sue from other from other information. So why does she need Lisa? Presumably because she wants Lisa to testify that this adult disclosed this information, right, in an interview. But my question is, what breached confidentiality? Like, what is the confidentiality based on?
Right, because there's...
is there something in the contract of the summer camp that says, we will never talk about your child and mention their name? I mean, granted, I don't think it was wise of the summer camp owner to do that, but I just don't understand why Lisa is a precipient witness to anything other than the fact that maybe the camp counselor said that a child wandered off in this.
Right, because there was another situation on our subreddit. I think people maybe have this idea that like HIPAA exists for everything, like anything you say to anyone is secret, and it's like, that's not true. No. Like, obviously there's a reason they don't put a kid's name in the paper, right, because he's a minor, but it's not
Right. And that's why in court cases, if a minor is involved, it's always abbreviated. There's a pseudo or pseudonym.
But it's not illegal, is it? I mean, is it illegal, for instance, if you work at a school and then you were to go and say, you know, Billy Smith, you know, got caught smoking weed in the bathroom? It's not like a HIPAA violation. It's not comparable, is it? Is there some kind of school HIPAA?
I mean, well, I'd ask the question, who are they saying it to, and is it true? Like, if it's not true, then it's defamation. But
right.
The question would just be, what is the presumption of confidentiality predicated on? I'm not aware of any
school
law
HIPAA
that says, like, you're not allowed to say somebody went to this summer camp.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. There might be a law. There might be something that says, like, you can't share name. I'm not aware of it, but
big summer camp is a notoriously litigious.
Don't mess with them. I have a question. I can't believe this. It's not really a question. It's more of a fact, and it makes me question the whole story. How much money is she getting paid at this summer camp? Like, I've never heard of a summer camp that you would risk, like, getting involved in a lawsuit. You're like, I got to get this summer camp job. I feel like they're notoriously low pay. So I question her storytelling.
You don't believe that a summer camp could pay people well, especially not enough. One that lets a child wander off.
Yeah.
It sounds poorly run.
No wonder they're getting sued. Yeah.
And also, the thing is just the child wandered off. That was the whole thing.
That was the whole thing. Yeah. That's honestly, the story is hard for me to understand. Like, the child wandered off.
Like OP left something out, importantly. Something important out. Original post.
Well, if your child wandered off, would that not be grounds for something?
So the child wandered off, and then they got upset about it. And then this woman, she heard that story, went to the interview, and the camp person mentioned it. She's like, this is the place. Oh, well, I got to get that hot camp counselor money. And then she mentions it, and then the mom calls.
And what are they suing the summer camp for? I guess presumably they're suing for negligence. Like,
that's what you would sue for.
However, in order to do that, you need to show that you were harmed in some way.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. The law, because like I feel like there's certain people who are very like they'll get really mad because they'll be like something bad could have happened.
Right.
And it's like something bad could have happened, but nothing bad didn't happen. The law doesn't care if something bad could have happened, right? If you put someone in a grave risk, if we go in my airplane and I tell you, Christie, this plane ain't got any wheels, right? You know, we're not landing softly in this motherfucker.
That's a tuck and roll.
And then we land, but no one's injured. It was fucking scary. You're angry at me.
Yeah, so that's emotional distress.
I told you in the air.
That is a harm in itself. People would say that's negligent infliction of emotional distress. Or something happened.
So something that might be there.
Unclear what happened with the child other than
if he wandered away and became very afraid that he was lost or something like that. So there is potentially something there. Okay.
So I don't know the details of, this is like this stuff of first year law school of like, oh, well, let's explore all the hypothetical
situations.
That sounds so fun. I would love that.
All the missing facts that we would want to know in order to assess the situation. And, but I guess ultimately, it just seems like this person's not a witness to anything other than the fact that she mentioned that a case was going on.
Yeah.
So I would want to know what this...
Or that the counselor said. She just repeated what the counselor said, which is like, we had a kid wander off one time and that was bad. So don't do that if we hire you. And the kid's name was this.
Tell me you're not pouring out all your legal drama on the girl we just interviewed. Like, how inappropriate.
Yeah.
Not to say it's not... It's certainly not appropriate to talk about, but I'm just wondering what the actionable, what their theory is.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe she signed an NDA. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we could get into all the legal aspects, but I think the question, and I think what a lot of people might wonder about this is, this is all civil, right? We're talking about maybe emotional distress, but what I'm curious about is, let's say it's murder, though. I witness a murder. The government can compel me. You can't just go, I don't want to go. They can make you go.
Right. That's what a subpoena is.
A subpoena is you better fucking come.
A subpoena is
you better get here.
The weight of the court now, and we can hold you in contempt if you do not show up. So, Lisa...
Just go, Kari. If you saw the murder, go.
I don't like to talk about it. Okay.
Lisa can absolutely not... She can dodge the calls all day long. But then once she gets served with that subpoena...
Then it's over.
Then she's...
Gotta go. But
So if I were, like I didn't want to talk to somebody, but then I'd have to be dodging and not answering the door.
right.
You know, somebody's going to come serve her.
But in a criminal case, I did go to law school, and by that I mean I watched the practice. Well, let's say a witness they went to the subpoena, but the subpoena won't be like straight up to the trial, right? They can be a little dodgy, or eventually you can most people want to cooperate, right?
Well, there's different types of subpoenas. So there, you can compel somebody to show up like for a deposition, and then there's also to testify in court. And also to produce documents. There's just different types.
But they go, oh, I don't want to. It's traumatizing for me to talk about. I don't want to talk about it. But you can eventually compel them.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they make themselves unavailable.
I got a trip.
Dodge.
I'm going on a trip.
Yeah. So, but you have to have like a really good reason, but simply saying I don't want to isn't a good enough reason to not show up in court. But you would probably at that point get a lawyer who would make what was called a motion to quash, where you try to quash the subpoena.
Really?
Yeah.
A motion to quash.
Yeah. And
very
basically
whimsical
saying,
sounding.
This is a fucking joke.
I feel like
This is not necessary.
when they say quash, they go, quash, bro.
You got quashed.
Motion to quash, bro. Granted. Thanks, bro.
Anyway, sorry. That's...
No.
That was great.
That was great.
That was what we wanted.
I'm just like so like I have questions I think the law can't explain but again the hot money bit really has me questioning her integrity. Also just like I feel like she's leaving out things that happened to the child in this post.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
to make her case look better.
To be like it's cool, right? That I don't do anything and I just take this hot summer camp money.
Because
There's people out there though who are litigious.
yeah, I just want to know why this parent is so
Upset about her child. I mean, it's not great because it sounded like that many people saw the child wander away and did nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she didn't give us too much information about what actually happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I guess to me, the number one indicator to me that something serious did happen is that OP is finding out in her first job interview and they're just pouring it out. I'm like, you sound a little unhinged.
It sounds like maybe she shouldn't. Yeah, I feel like she should ask a different question, honestly. Like, do you guys think I should work here?
Well, yeah, and it's like you're so desperate for money that, I mean, if it's legitimate, I don't know. I mean, that's really my only counter on, the sort of people who are suing side. I'm like, there are people out there, right, who just like to sue people. It's like how they get off. They like the power of it.
Yeah, I guess they can afford summer camps and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the question is, am I an asshole for just not talking to this person?
That's what I think.
She's not playing ball. Basically not. The attorney thinks that this can help the case. And now she doesn't want to help.
I would say you're not an asshole for not wanting to get involved. But if you, for whatever reason, we don't know the details, but if you're the only person who can testify as to a specific fact and a child is in danger or something like that, yeah, you are an asshole.
Yeah.
If this is just some parent who's like, I want to be litigious.
Yeah.
No.
Who's got an axe to burn.
Yeah, an axe to grind.
Yeah.
An axe to burn.
Who's got an axe to burn? Switch it up.
That's getting aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning asshole because I'm like, this is someone in your network. And I know there are people who are like crazy like this, but I'm kind of like, it kind of just seems like you don't want to be involved with this and you want to do your own thing. And it's like, you're not going to help with this. It sounds like something did happen.
It sounds like something happened.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
I mean, a child leaving a building in the woods, not cool. Should not be possible. Fair?
Yeah. As a child who has wandered off.
The child is?
It does not know.
I wandered off at school.
Did you?
Yeah, my parents took me immediately away from that place.
See?
But I think they weren't paying for it, so I don't know.
Well, it's still unacceptable, even if it's free.
That's what you get.
Feed you to the bears just because it's free. RLK Griffiths writes, too late. You are in up to your eyeballs. Find a lawyer for yourself. At this point, I'm guessing you won't get that job, but probably for the best as they'll likely end up closed anyway. As far as Lisa and her legal team, give them your lawyer's number and any further contact should be lawyer to lawyer. Christie? Does that seem necessary?
Well, that, like I said, if you want to fight the subpoena and not have to show up, you're probably going to have to get a lawyer.
Is it more? It must be more difficult to get a subpoena for a civil case like this, right? Than a murder? No.
I mean, I don't think I've prepared dozens of subpoenas before. You just file paperwork.
Subpoena's kind of a subpoena?
Say again?
Well, I guess I would think that, the judge has to approve it, right?
No.
Oh.
I think you have to follow a specific procedure. It depends on what you're requesting. If you're requesting like personal records or medical information, you have to notify the person, give them like an opportunity to object. You're probably going to hash it out about whether, and then a lot of people just don't object. They're like, yeah, go ahead and get the records. I'm trying to prove my personal injury.
Right.
Whatever. But then sometimes, then when you finally go before a court, it's when you disagree about the scope. And that's when you get before a judge.
But generally speaking, you're willing to say, I saw a murder, that guy could get subpoenaed, and OP could get subpoenaed, and it would be relatively similar to call those people in. Wow. That's kind of crazy.
To call the people in to like testify. Yeah. You have to, if you're a witness to the police.
To a major thing, you got to come talk.
It's very similar. I guess I would think it'd be harder to pull someone in for a trifling civil case like this.
If they're a relevant person.
The facts are the facts. That's interesting. Well, we all learned something.
But also, like, there is a difference, too, between pulling him in for, like, a deposition and then pulling him into court to testify. Those are two different things.
Okay.
They're both under oath, but they're different burdens.
Got it. Nonetheless, I don't know if we're all aligned here, but I think we've had enough of this. AITA for refusing to speak to someone's lawyer after my number was given without my permission. I previously said I didn't want to be involved. I'm honestly, I just kind of feel like this person is being very difficult. I mean, it just seems like I feel like they should share this information, and I'm not ready to assume that the other people are just these caricatures of litigious monsters. I'm at YTA.
They're a shady narrator, I'd say.
Okay, so you're the asshole, and the other people aren't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say you're a full asshole, but I think you should have a part 2 post where you're like, I swear this is all the info I have, because I feel like information's missing. It doesn't make sense.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You're saying info, basically.
Yeah.
Christie, settle us.
You're also kind of dumb. Sorry, this sounds like a bad job. Run for your life. Okay, go ahead.
Wow. Gotti. Good Lord. Just straight up insulting OP.
Well, asshole or just like find out more info.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that if it's truly just to prove that it's to add one more claim on top of it, then I don't think it's an asshole. They're suing anyway, and they're just like, I don't want to. If they have nothing unique to add, if they have like a vital piece of information that only they can testify to, then yeah, I would say they're an asshole.
Seems reasonable to me. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. All right, guys.
So a quick disclaimer, I am not giving legal advice.
No.
I'm just saying what I think based on my knowledge of the law, and it is very limited, and I haven't practiced in a few years.
Can I say a disclaimer,
it's an entertainment podcast. Yes, you can.
I'm sorry I called you dumb, and I understand the need for money. I'm just saying, like, people are already suing, and this much drama is happening in just the application process. Like, do you really want this job? Like, I understand. Like, get into babysitting. Like, sounds like you live in a rich area. Okay, that's all. Sorry.
No, I thought
like, rate, subscribe.
I don't know what kind of disclaimer that was, but it went out. AITA.
Those words.
We're gonna wrap up. AITA for naming my son Stroganoff. My wife, F31, and I, M36, recently had our second kid. We've been married 3 years, together for 7. She wanted the middle name to be Stefan, after a family member I don't really like too much, and she knows this. I was placed in charge of filling out the birth registration form, so I decided as a little prank to fill in the middle name as Stroganoff. When we received the birth certificate, to say she went off the rails would be an understatement. I doubled down and said, hey, at least I didn't put Beef as the first name, which I realize now only poured more gas on the fire. I argued that it's not that serious, that a name change form is like $40 and I'd take care of it. She took the kids to her sister's and refuses to speak to me and is telling her sister that she's thinking of separating.
Whoa.
I know what I did was dumb, but is she overreacting? I want to try and rectify this and do what's best for our relationship. AITA. Just a casual little, I fucked up the name of our child. Pretty good bit, right, guys?
This is not something to divorce one's spouse over.
This is not the first time this person's done this. And
what are their other bits?
What are their other bits that they've done?
Babe, I didn't pay the insurance.
Yeah, and
I did doubtfire you once.
Yeah, I did doubtfire. Also, why do you hate Stefan in the family? Like, what's going on? If we're just doing a quick thing, I think this person is potentially a big asshole, and I'm curious to see what happens to them.
Is this as harmless as it seems?
I just feel like this was a straw that broke the camel's back. This wasn't a first.
It depends on the context, right?
Yeah.
If they've been together and it's always been like, hey, you don't take our relationship seriously.
Yeah.
It depends on like what has preceded this. Have they had conversations about how she's like, I just feel like you are always trying to push my buttons. I don't feel like you're reliable.
You don't help with fatherhood.
Or just, yeah.
Yeah.
What's like, if this were an isolated instance and it's been smooth sailing,
Yeah.
and it's just the normal bumps of relationships and ups and downs, and then he did this one Stroganoff thing, I don't think that's
Yeah.
such a punishable offense.
Yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be a marriage ender, but I do think it's a bad bit. I think, I don't know, if we can come up with some parameters on why, I think, first of all, one is that it is, like, legally significant. It's a birth certificate.
Yeah.
It's creating, like, actual legal paperwork. I don't know.
I feel like a name change can be hard. I don't know. I've never done it, but it's like this one. Also, the woman who gave birth is having a lot of hormone stuff going on. Okay, she just gave birth.
That's fair.
All right, so she's not feeling great.
She's hysterical, and let's not believe a word she says.
No, I'm just saying, like, no. I'm just saying it's mean to do that to the person
It's not
who
a good
just
time
gave
for
birth.
it, right?
Not a good
Yeah.
time.
And so that's also probably why they left, is because you're like not being sensitive. So I think I would say this person's probably an asshole, is my guess.
I feel like a good prank. This is crossing into a layer of officialness that I feel like good pranks should not. Now, if he had made a fake birth certificate,
Yeah, fake birth
that's
certificate.
funny.
Birth certificate,
That'd be
very
funny.
That's funny.
No,
And if he
no.
mailed it to Stefan, who he doesn't like, to be like, this is how much we fucking hate you.
That
would be really
a
funny.
move of aggression,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess funny, sure. from my
Okay.
perspective.
Well, okay, fine.
What say you, Christy? Are you
So
a prankster? Yeah.
I have to also just, having such an immigrant background of my parents, and we have like a very high threshold for clerical errors. Like my mom's birth certificate is 8 days off.
8 days?
Yeah, because
Oh.
she was born on the 1st of April, but then they couldn't decide on a name until April 8th. And so they were like, all right, just put April 8th, and that's how they played it fast and loose in Egypt and back in the day.
Interesting.
And there are also people I know just don't actually have a birthday. And they just are like, I was born in sometime in the summer of 1940.
The summer? They don't got a month on that thing.
Well, that's, like my friend's grandparents were born in like the mountains of Lebanon. Like, they just they weren't like, oh, it's exactly the time
Right.
of, you know what I mean? It's just like a
the
different
time.
Your
situation.
friend
So
didn't have calendars? Or was this...
yeah, but I mean, they
Sorry,
just
I'm just trying
didn't.
to
They weren't
understand.
like meticulously
I've
decided. They didn't have the same type of like. It's a cultural thing where like people don't have the exact date and time of their birth. Sometimes it's just like, oh, it was like in the middle of this month.
I guess if you don't have a birth certificate, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
So you're feeling like you don't feel like the levity of the
So,
situation.
Or the gravity, rather.
Yeah.
I feel less inclined to feel the gravity. Having said that, though, it's also just, like you said, this is a vulnerable situation where this woman is just brought life into this world. Or, presumably woman-identifying person.
Right, exactly.
And I think it's not funny to have pranks that have lasting implications.
Also, it's like, are you going to really file and change the name, or are you going to make her do it? Like,
That's the
you
thing.
know?
I feel like going into what you're saying, it's like, look, I mean, she just made a baby, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Isn't
Be
there
a good team player.
Exactly. Like already, just by default, she's doing most of the labor.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
And what he's telegraphing to her is, you actually can't trust me to do
Even a
something
basic
very
thing.
basic. That
I'm kind of with what you stated. I think that's a good prank guideline. Lasting implications. It's like, I think, you know, the mark of a prank that's great is that, like, if somebody scares the shit out of me, and I think, even if I think I'm going to die, then I know I'm not going to die, and that's that.
unless the lasting implication is the heart attack that you have or something like, you know what I mean? I think
Has that ever
there's a
happened?
difference between lasting and then irreversible. Just because it's
That's fair.
reversible doesn't mean.
But do you think that's ever happened where someone is in a prank scare and dies from a heart attack? I feel like
like,
people
yes.
bring that up a
absolutely
lot.
certain it's happened.
You're certain
Yeah,
it's
I
happened?
feel
There's
like
just no
yes.
way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you feel so bad?
Absolutely, yeah.
There was a lore
Ooh.
at my old law firm where they had summer associates. I'm not going to say which law firm it was, and
Let's not
but
say.
it wasn't even my summer class. It was many, many summers before I had gotten to that law firm, and they, for whatever reason, the summer associates thought it'd be so funny at the final party. There happened to be one of the partners volunteered their backyard that had a pool, and they're like, let's throw the senior partner, the named partner of the firm, in the pool.
Not the senior part.
And they all got together and threw him in the pool and thought it'd be a big old yuck.
Oh, no.
And none of them got offers at the end of that year because they were like, what an absolute lapse of judgment. And it's just like, and that's what we call lasting implications. It's like, you just thought it would be so funny to throw the partner in the pool. And he got so upset that he was like, all these fucking children are not going to be employed. It's like very hard to not get an offer at the end of your law firm unless you like super fuck up.
It's not a good prank
It's not a good prank.
because
Water's
it's
gross.
just violence, really.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you're throwing someone into something. I guess it's harmless, but it's like
Right.
like if you just scare someone, to me, I don't know. I love a good scare.
I don't like
Are
to
you guys
be
against scares?
I worked at this one place where the CEO thought it'd be so fun if she hired scare actors to scare us on Halloween, and I cursed out all of the scare actors. I was like, "You come at me, fucking try that again."
Oh my
like,
God.
Yeah, I was really aggressive. I don't like it. I get
You don't
very
like
upset.
being scared?
No, I don't go to haunted houses. I don't go watch horror movies. This is not for me. My nervous system is not built this way. Like
Okay.
I knew I was being ridiculous, but I also was like, I'm serious. Leave me the fuck alone.
So
This
like,
is
scare you.
controversial. I
Yeah.
think that
This is controversial.
No. What I'm about to say.
Okay.
The art of the prank is not just giving yourself a laugh, having an old wank with yourself.
Yeah.
You have to know
old wank.
that they're gonna kind of appreciate it too. They have
Yeah.
to be the type of
Ooh, that's
person.
good.
Yeah.
who, once they realize it was a prank, going, you got me. If you have a person who does not have the temperament or a disposition to have enjoyed what just frickin' happened,
Right.
it's not a good prank. It's abuse. It's torture.
Exactly,
psychologically. It's not
yeah.
fun. The whole point of a prank isn't just like, isn't it so funny that I laughed at your expense?
Right.
Lighten up. No. Dick.
Yeah.
You have to know that they'll at least slightly appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's good. I like that. The first
Yeah.
step to a prank is empathizing with the other person. It's beautiful.
Just knowing that they're the type of person who's not going to absolutely have a meltdown, have like nervous system issues.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
unless, caveat, it is so minor.
Yeah, if it's tiny.
If it's so tiny.
Yeah.
For example,
Here we go.
maybe this was a dick thing.
I'm so excited right now.
I had a friend at the law library back in law school go to the bathroom and leave his computer and didn't ask anyone to watch it. And I was right there. And just,
Oh, yeah.
when he came back, I took his computer, just and put it right next to me. This wasn't that far away. And he came back and he looked around and I let him have this moment of where oh my God, somebody stole my computer. I give it 10 seconds.
Yeah.
10 seconds of him
10
going,
seconds.
oh no. And then I went, hey, I took your computer to watch it for you. And then he was like, oh. And one of the things he would always say to me, also, small caveat, we dated for 3 months.
Oh my
One of the things he
God.
always said to me was,
Okay.
life is a game, Christie, lighten. He would always say, lighten. Life is a game.
Oh, he said lighten up?
Life is a game.
Oh, he had this
Would
coming.
always tell me to lighten up.
He had this coming.
And when I let him think that the laptop was gone for 10 seconds, and then I gave it back to him and said, life is a game. And he looked at me like I was the devil. And he was like, that wasn't funny. And I was like, okay, I'm really sorry. I thought you would laugh at it because you're always telling me life is a game. I'm sorry.
And it was like
Extra-
kind of
unless
What
it's
a
finals. Unless it's
nightmare.
finals week.
Nightmare person. Bullet dodged.
Bullet dodged. I agree.
Life is only a game when I'm telling you to calm down,
right.
Christy.
Exactly. Yeah.
If he had said, okay, you got me. I don't like it, but you got me. That was the fair
that's
response.
fair.
He was like, no.
You got him.
And I was like, all right, well,
Life is a game.
10 seconds. It's not like I let him fail his exam because he couldn't finish
Find
his
his
It wasn't during a final
I could have gone to 30. I think 30 is legal. Really letting the panic build a little bit.
Oh my
I
God.
No, 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds.
I let him realize it was gone. Go like this. And then he did one of these and then I was like, hey. Before he got a little, before his blood pressure got But in hindsight, I'm like, maybe then I then decided I'm only going to play fun pranks on people. Okay. One other prank I played in the law library. I wasn't
the law library with peak hijinks from freaking Christie Bahna.
Fun times. I had a friendship with one of the foreign LLM students. That's your Masters of Law program, whatever. And we were talking one day about how he hated the chairs in the law library. And I was like, well, what do you work on at home? He's like, a big exercise ball. And I was like, oh, okay. One day, I had a giant exercise ball. I drove to the library in my car. Normally I would walk. And when he went to the bathroom, I took away all the chairs in his row and replaced it with an exercise ball.
That's
and
funny.
then hid.
That's
and he
funny.
looked around and he had not seen me, but then he smiled and he got a real big kick out of it. And that was a fun
That's
little
funny. That's good.
That's a good prank.
And there were no chairs. I had to sit on the ball.
I have a friend who likes to prank, and we worked together, and she would hide my drink and my phone, and I think I'm undiagnosed ADHD. So if I lose something, it really is it's hard for me. I have a hard time knowing where things are when I know where they are. So we would get into I would yell at her. I'm like, stop fucking doing that, dude.
Yeah.
It's really irritating to me. Yeah. So we had to stop. But one time I have an issue with Meryl Streep. She's great. She's talented. Don't at me about this. But one time my family put Meryl Streep all over my laptop and my phone, and I thought that was hilarious.
Nice. I can't think of any pranks I've done. You guys are little pranksters. I love it.
They pranked me. I really don't. I don't have
even all the pranks.
I don't have the foresight to prank someone.
Library.
Well, the ball prank too is it showed good empathy. You're adhering to your principle because you listened, and it was actually he said that he wanted to work on the ball.
Yeah.
So
it was fun that when he came back from the bathroom, all the chairs were gone, but a ball was there.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's really funny.
It was whimsical. I was like, I'm Amelie.
She's Amelie,
I'm setting
folks.
people
Going too far.
up.
Going too
Yeah,
far. All right, guys.
I'm getting people together. Okay.
This is super fun. I think we agree. AITA for naming my son Stroganoff. We're all saying you're the asshole. And obviously she isn't. She just had good old Michael Stroganoff. Guys, it's been so great having you.
Thank you for
plug
having
away?
us.
Any plugs? Burritos?
I help with I co-host a show called Mermaid Comedy Hour at the Hollywood Improv. It's usually the second Monday of the month. So come out.
All women show.
All women show.
Yeah.
And then Kari Assad Ghost Detective. That's anywhere you can find podcasts. We're going to have Danny on soon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I know.
Late in the pod invite. What is it called again? Kari what?
Kari Assad Ghost Detective.
Oh, Ghost Detective. Got it.
Yeah,
got it.
where it's kind of similar to this, where we have someone come on, they share a story about a time they were ghosted, and we try and solve what happened. We try and put together the pieces.
I have one that's really stupid.
Okay,
we'll
yeah.
get to it. Christie.
I can't wait for this episode. You can find me at Autobahna, the German thoroughfare with an A. And I also have a podcast called Cleopatra.
Ooh.
Two Middle Eastern comedy queens on an expedition to dig up the funny from the first generation experience. Me and Lynn Molly, another comedy queen. And yeah, that's that. And boy, oh boy, isn't it embarrassing to be in a room where everyone has a podcast?
It's just
Pretty embarrassing.
that's just who we are,
It's the natural order of things.
That's a natural order.
All right, guys. That's the app. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
Bye.
me.